I just feel run down, Betty. I just feel like I am constantly tired. I mean, I am, and I had a sinus thing this last week that just knocked me out. So I am coming up off of that. But I also just feel like, as a parent of this special kiddo of mine, I'm just like constantly attending to him.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it's time to attend to myself, on top of everything else that needs attending to,
Mm.
I'm wiped out and I'm not doing anything well. It feels like I'm not taking care of myself well. I'm not sleeping well. I'm eating well, but it's like I just want to sit on the couch and stare at the wall, and I don't have time for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm coming off of just 3 days, like a 3-day weekend, but it's like it's me every minute that he is home. It is I am on him. We are engaging all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I find myself like getting triggered and getting frustrated when I need a minute, and I lose my cool, and then I come back and I repair it with him and I tell him I just need a minute, and yet he's relentless, and I get it. I'm studying the NRF. I get it. I am his green, and he usually is mine too, but then it wears me out.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone says, well, can your husband help? Can this happen? Can that happen? And the answer is sort of,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, like
Mm-hmm.
the answer really is no, it's me, and this is where we are right here, right now. Um, and it's just tiring.
You have a child who cannot self-regulate. You have a child who requires you to co-regulate him all of the time.
All of the time.
His nervous system doesn't know what to do with itself without you.
Right. And when I do leave him alone, it always comes back to bite me in the ass because he will do something
Mm-hmm.
probably good intentioned that then creates even more work for me. Or,
Mm-hmm.
picked his nose and he's got a huge bloody nose. Or
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so it's like it's just I don't get a break.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And I sit here in my office is like it looks like a bomb went off. And it's like, how can you think in here? And I can't, but I just don't have the energy right now to like follow through on it and like get rid of stuff. Just everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
I will
That
say
kind
I don't,
of,
huh?
I said, where would you get that kind of energy when you're using
I
it all
have
up?
I have a feeling like somebody could hear this and go, God, she sounds so depressed. And I
Mm.
don't feel depressed. I just feel depleted. I feel like there's a difference.
Mm-hmm. There is a
So,
difference.
yeah, I went to the gym today because I'm restarting to take care of myself in that way. And of course, that's hard emotionally, physically, spiritually, where
Mm-hmm.
I am in terms of my strength. And then that makes me more tired. And I know that you've got to like get over that hump to get to a better place. But it's like everything right now just feels really hard. So that's where I am.
Tell me more about what it looks like, the two of you, and you co-regulating with him, just being with him and in your daily interactions.
Um, Mostly he just wants very like specific time. He wants me to sit down next to him and tell him every single sport schedule, what time it is, what team it is,
Mm-hmm.
what day they're playing. And like we can go through a sports schedule. We could go through it all day long. He
Mm-hmm.
loves it. He loves it. And that's what he wants. And even when I give him like, all right, bud, we're going to do this for this amount of time,
Mhm.
then he will follow me around with the sports schedule and go, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And I'm like, and then I feel it creep on and I lose it. And I'm like, oh, I need a minute, please. I just need a minute. I just need a minute to like either go to the bathroom by myself or fix dinner by myself. I mean, and by myself means like you stand, you you are still within a line sight vision of me because it's where he wants to be. So
Mhm.
that's what co-regulating looks like. He's not really well, we can play with some, like he's into this Playmobil right now, so we've been playing a little bit, but it co-regulation for him is like really either looking at the iPad and like going through songs and telling him what the songs are and who the artists are, or looking at sports and like constantly scrolling. And it drives me nuts. I can do it for like 5 minutes and then my skin just starts to crawl because it's like his brain moves so fast and he takes in information and learns it so differently. And for me, it's totally maddening. So
What happens when you say no, but you stay with him?
Um, then he literally will like shove the iPad in my face or constantly tap and hit me.
What are you looking at and doing when he's doing that?
I mean, sometimes I'm like finishing an email or like, there are
I'm
things
asking
that,
you what
oh,
happens if you say no and you stay with him?
yeah, he just kind of blows right by that. There's really no indication that I've said anything. Like he doesn't, there's no turn off.
Yeah,
I
so
say
let's
it.
say you don't say anything. You say no, he blows by it, and you continue to look at him and wait for him to
Yeah, I have been doing that and it makes him uncomfortable.
understand. Tell me more
And
about that.
well, he's like, and then he has a weird response because he doesn't know what I'm doing. And so like he'll laugh or like yeah,
Mhm,
I mean, he physically gets uncomfortable.
mhm.
Um, but then oftentimes he just goes right back to asking me.
And then what happens when he doesn't get what he wants?
Oh, then we, well, usually honestly, I get my voice gets elevated. I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm done. Like I'll throw up my hands and I'll be like, I'm done. I can't do it right.
What would happen if you kept your attention, focus, and connection without giving him what he wants?
I mean, I've done that in times when he's like positive red, or like I did it this morning when he was having a little bit of a hard time with some disappointment. And I just looked at him
Mhm.
and then he hit me because I wasn't giving him the response he wanted, right? Like I was frustrating him by just sitting there and looking
Hard
at him.
How hard did he hit you?
Um, I mean, thankfully it wasn't that hard, but he's also only 8, so it could have been harder.
Did he bite
Um,
you, or did he how bad was it?
no, it's like a quick swat.
Okay,
An open hand swat.
okay. What would happen if he swats you
I want to just hit him back.
and you don't and you wait for him to understand?
I do. I give him a look, and what's not a nice look. It's a
Imagine you staying with focus, connection, and attention on him and all of your love while you wait for him to have it sink in that this is a problem he's going to have to solve for himself, that you are not going to solve this.
I don't know that he has that ability at this point yet. Like when I look at him like that,
Mhm. He's going to have some frustration. He's going to want to hit you. Those are his problem solving skills.
yeah.
When they don't work, you can continue, you can block his hits but you can stay connected and wait for him to figure this out.
Yeah. So this morning we had a moment like that out of frustration, not out of like, okay, I can't look at the schedule anymore. Like there are things I need to do this morning, sweet
Mhm.
angel. So like in the moment this morning when it was out of frustration, I could tell I was getting dysregulated. So I tried all sorts of techniques for myself to stay and be present with him.
Yeah.
I stopped talking and I gave him a big hug and he
Mhm.
pushed me away.
Which is a solution that you're giving him, not letting him deal with the problem.
Right. Okay, well, there's twofold here. I'm
Okay.
managing two problems.
Okay.
I'm managing his disappointment and frustration. But then in the back of my head, I am managing my
Mm.
husband who's going to come out
Oh.
of the shower and
Mhm.
going to say, this behavior is inappropriate. Stop.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I'm trying to support Ari to have this expression
With all of that pressure.
with all this pressure of getting him to shut up so it doesn't escalate.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's where I am right now. That's also why I'm exhausted because
Okay.
it's constant.
Totally. And you can't be your best parent when you're having to do it in the context of constant criticism and people trying to shut it down.
Hallelujah. So,
So
uh,
here's the deal.
yeah,
Would what's your husband's name again?
Jim.
Would Jim be able to tolerate your saying, I'm going to try something and I just need some time and space to do it?
Mm,
Next
yes.
time he wants me to, do something like read him this or that, I'm going to stay listen. I'm going to just stay with him and let him wrestle with the disappointment, frustration, whatever he goes through of my not complying. And I just need time. I need him to be able to go through all this range of emotions that he's going to go through. So, can you please give me that time and space to try this? I hear it works.
Well, here's what we're up against, Betty.
Mm-hmm.
This happened last night. It was such a simple thing. I had been with Ari all day long. He was excited. He bought some crackers that he wanted to share with his dad, and it popped into his mind about 10 minutes before bed. Could it have been a stall tactic? Maybe. But was he also really excited to show him? Yes. And so right before bed, Ari goes and grabs these crackers, and Jim goes, nope, not going to happen. And Ari just starts crying. And he
Mm-hmm.
comes to me and he's looking at me like, Mom, I don't like what daddy's doing. He got really mad at me. I'm now dysregulated. It scared me. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't nice. All those things are true. And I also know he wanted to, he was excited. Like that was something he wanted to show with his dad who he hadn't seen all day. So I'm just holding him and I'm like, I
Mm-hmm.
know, I know, I know. I'm just holding him. And Jim's like, no. So I'm up against like me asking Jim, can I just do this?
Mm-hmm.
He sees what I'm doing as allowing Ari to manipulate me, you get away with it. And I'm like, no, he's not getting away with it. I'm just letting him have these feelings. And that doesn't penetrate. It does not translate to him. And so
So the answer would be no. He would not give you the time and space to try something.
no, these are things that I have to do when he's not there. And then
Okay.
hope that Ari can start to do it
Mm-hmm.
quicker as so we need to practice it more when Jim's not there
Mm-hmm.
because it is exacerbated when he's there because he flies off the handle quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Poor guy. Ari, that is.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows, he's like, I don't like it. Daddy's rules are different. Daddy's different. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I know. And then then Jim when Jim hears that being said too, he's like, you just, you just can't back me up. We're not a team. This is a big marital, this is a whole different ball of wax, but it's all connected.
Have you tried asking him how you can solve this problem of both of you not backing each other up?
Hmm. Divorce. That's not the solution, but it feels like it sometimes.
But just to remind him, you're not backing me up either. We're not backing each other up. And I'm open to thinking about how we can work through that. I'm not open to only you getting to parent the way you want to. And you're not open to me getting to the way I want to, getting to parent the way I want to, and my not backing you up. So what do we do?
Yeah.
What are your ideas? And then he might say, well, the reason I'm right is because da 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 da. And you can say, well, I've got the reasons I'm right too. Do we want to make lists of those, or do you want to think beyond that?
Yeah.
I've got more scientists behind mine. So if you want to go down that route, we can go down that route. But I'm willing to try to think of a solution without proving to you that I'm right.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
As soon as you're in a hurry,
Yeah.
there's urgency, all is lost.
Totally.
If you have an opportunity to sit down and talk quietly, calmly, with no time limit, because you're married, so presumably we're talking about till death, you've got time.
My God.
You've got all of Ari's growing up. There's time.
Right. It doesn't have to be right now.
Well, it hasn't been. It's not like you can find the solution in one sitting. You
No.
would have done it by now. So being able to sit in the problem with him, asking him to sit in the problem with you and think about it more holistically than just his way or your way. I don't know if he's able to do that,
Well,
but if he's not able to do that, that would also reveal some things for him.
right. Well, and I have recently asked that we both start seeing individual therapists again to like get to some of these issues. Like we can't really work on being better teammates and partners and lovers and parents together until some of, I mean, I've been I've been in therapy for the last 25 years. I'm
Yeah,
really saying he needs to be in therapy.
you
And
might
I'm
not be
hoping,
a therapy person, Talia.
say that again.
You might not be a therapy person.
No, I know. He thinks, you know what he thinks he is? He's like, well, I should just be able to go take some mushrooms and like come to this conclusion on my own and like work through my own trauma. But it hasn't happened.
I understand that, but it's not necessarily therapy that he would relate to. And when you get somebody into therapy who doesn't want to be there, it's not necessarily that useful.
That's true.
It's a lot of money and time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I don't know.
So
It's like,
ask him, like, this is what the situation is. And the best thing is to just explain the situation as you see it, not the solution. Stay out of the solution. Here's the situation. Would you like to go take some mushrooms and sit with this situation and see what you can come up with?
yeah, go. I will gladly go. Yes, that's what I will do. Stay in the situation,
Hmm.
avoid, don't go to the solution. Yeah, I will ask him that because that will land on him better than have you found a therapist?
I don't think he should be in therapy.
No. He doesn't believe in it
Hmm.
because he's perfect. Well, yeah, in theory, he says, "Oh, I'm open to it," but he doesn't trust what anybody else tells him. So
Mhm.
it's like, "Are you? No, you're clearly not." All right.
Can trust he can trust the problem being explained to him. The problem is you want to parent the way you want to parent. I want to parent the way I want to parent, and we aren't backing each other up. You want me to back you up. I want you to back me up. We're at an impasse. Okay, go take some mushrooms.
Yeah. Yep. Boom, Betty.
Someone will probably cut out that part of what I said and then blast that.
All over.
Recommending mushrooms.
No, no, no. Betty is not recommending mushrooms. She is just saying what I said.
I am recommending mushrooms to anybody who thinks that they need to take mushrooms
Yeah,
to figure
there
out how
you
to get along with their wives.
go. If it's a marriage saver and a nervous system regulator, children can thrive and be who they need to be and experience what they need to experience and eat all the mushrooms.
Mhm. Okay, so
Okay.
I really want to hear what Stay Listening without Jim's presence can do for Ari.
It has been successful. It has been successful. When I am not rushed and I
Mhm.
am in a calm space,
Mhm.
it has been successful for brief moments of time. It's
Mhm.
never long lasting.
Mm.
Um,
The success or the Stay Listening is never long lasting.
no, the success.
Mm.
I can do it. I have done it and I know how to do it.
Mhm.
I compare Ari to, he's got a phenomenal mind and he remembers everything, but his impulse control is so strong that it overrides
Mm.
everything. So like I can stay and listen and say, I need 5 minutes, bud, and we do it. He gets it for a minute. He goes and sits down. I say, I need
Mm.
5 minutes. And then 30 seconds later,
Mhm.
Mommy, what's this team? Mommy, what's this team? Mommy, what's this?
Then
So
what do
I'm
you do?
constantly redirecting him. I use the Alexa timer for everything. I'm like,
Okay, hold on.
Alexa,
That's not Stay Listening.
I would have to, okay, I hear you.
When Stay Listening, you're not asking for anything. You're giving a limit. You don't even remind him of the limit. When he goes and he comes back, the Stay Lit, he says, Mommy, what's this team? And you just look at him.
Okay, I should get this on camera because he is so persistent. And it might take, I hear what you're saying. It will take a while and he will understand that if I don't engage, but I stay and listen, he will move on.
How long will it take?
I don't know. It depends. I mean,
Because again,
it might not take very long, but then he'll come right back and try it again.
then that's included in the time.
Yeah,
How long will all of it take?
I don't know.
An hour?
Maybe.
That's our average first Stay Listening session is an hour.
Is it really?
No, but that's my guess.
Okay.
My guess is that for the worst cases, an hour is that's what I recommend is an hour. I don't know, really, I don't have the science to tell you the average, but I believe an hour is how long it takes the first time
To
for a
really
child
do
to
it.
understand it.
Okay. Okay. Well, this makes me feel better. I've been doing it in such short amounts. There's no way Ari's getting it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Now, if you add play, you might be able to shorten it. So if
Yeah.
you're silly about it, and be silly that he laughs through it, then I would say you could maybe shorten it to 20 to 40 minutes.
Okay. And then do you suspect that he will have kind of like a release at the end of it of exhaustion of like what would positive possibly be like from like a tantrum or something? Like he'll just be, oh God, that was exhausting. And mom just stood there and looked at me.
Could
Like,
be, or it could be real sad, deep, deep sadness,
yeah.
which is what's behind the impulse is that he's trying to avoid the disappointment and sadness, and he's in positive red zone. So often positive red zone is this avoidance of disappointment, sadness, what's that grief that's underneath. It's scary, but it's less scary with you there supporting him through it.
Well, and I get it. I'm his only friend. He doesn't have a sibling. I'm everything.
Mhm.
So of course and he doesn't know how to read yet. So it's like, you know, it's all
Yeah.
these things. And he wants information so badly. And if I don't give it to him, he doesn't get it the way he wants it.
Mhm. And you are giving it to him.
Yeah. Just not 24
Mm.
hours a day.
Just a reminder, you are doing it.
So yeah, I know all the rugby teams of Australia.
So why isn't he reading yet? What's happening there? Does he just
Um, he can memorize, but I don't think he has, um, he'll, like, I've even had his eyesight checked, but I think it's just the way his brain works. He'll look at something, but he doesn't actually focus on it. And I think,
gotcha.
I even like I had a doctor tell me just this past year that his, autism and ADHD
Mm.
takes a toll on the body, and like the organization to get your head balanced on your torso and your
Yep,
hips and
yep.
everything, and to not get distracted by anything outside of the words on the page. Ari's just, it can't, it's not a thing when he's not into it. Now, like he can scroll through a playlist of songs and stop it on a dime and see the photo of of an album cover and
Huh?
tell you what it is.
Wow.
But he won't sit and read. But we're working on it. Like I won't tell him what the sport is because it says what the sport is, and I'm like, no, don't guess. You gotta know. You gotta know. And so he'll look at it. But Betty, I don't know. He can't verbalize to me like what things look like. I sometimes think he's dyslexic,
Mhm,
um, because he always reads, like if there are two teams,
mhm.
he'll read right to left versus left to right.
Okay, okay, yeah.
But no one's even addressing that at this point because
No one's teaching him how to read at school?
they, I think they're so overwhelmed. I think they're working on sight words, and he knows all of his sounds, and he'll go, what's that go word? And he'll look at something with a G, you
Okay.
know? Um, so
But they're
yeah,
not
I don't
teaching him phonics, they're not teaching him blending, they're not teaching him
I think I mean, he's in, I think that I need, honestly, I think they are. I just think he's probably so resistant to it that they're not like, I don't know,
why is he resistant to it?
'cause it's hard.
What's hard about it?
I think the focusing, I think he's
But
so,
how big are the letters that they're working
well,
with?
that's, yeah, that's, I mean, I know. Oh, I know.
Like, they should be on an easel.
That's what I'm doing this summer with him. I'm gonna get the giant, or we could start it now. I should go get him now. I've had this idea of getting like those giant post-it notes, the giant pieces of paper, and just
But
putting
why aren't they doing that at school?
I don't, Betty, because they're, I don't know. I will talk to his teacher today. It is. I mean, he has to learn how to read. I tell him this all the time. I'm like, buddy, you got to learn how to read. You're going to figure it out so much in the world, and
Ask how they're learning, how he is learning phonics. Just ask this question. What are you all doing? How big are the letters so that he can focus? Are they on an easel? Are they big? Is it
Yeah.
fun? Are you using rhythm and music? And, are you using all the different parts of his brain to teach him how to read? And you can say, this is my new priority. You can act like it's new so that it's less offensive to them. Hey, I've decided that we're going to really focus on learning how to read, and I'd like to know what you're doing
Yeah.
right now so that we can know what to add to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have been thinking like I want to get him a tutor. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
I don't want to, yeah, I wouldn't want to do it either. You don't want to
And
teach your own child. Do not teach
no, I
your own
mean,
child.
I would if please, I
The
would, but
worst.
like this one, I
You
don't
need to
want
know. No, you need to
it.
not
Right. It needs,
have,
I need,
that's a whole other level of patience.
yeah. I, yeah, I would love, you know what? I wonder, we have one of his paras as one of our babysitters. And I
Hmm.
wonder if I could ask her, like, if she would come over. I'm going to ask her and we could like co-create, make it big, make it fun, make it silly, make it tactile.
Mhm.
Just get this kid reading because
Yes.
once he can read, it's like it'll be
It
I
needs to be a sensory orchestra where his ears and his hands, the tactile, the visual, you know, whip the whipping cream, get whipped cream and have him eat the whipped cream while he's writing in it. Like fun. It should be a sensory experience to learn how to read.
yeah.
And there should be joy throughout. Should be a relational experience to learn how to read.
Yep. Okay.
Like big, huge cards. There's A on one side of the room, and there's a T on the other side of the room, and we're saying A, and we're bringing the Stop. What's the T say? Okay, come back to the A. Stop. What's the T say? Okay, bring it closer, bring it closer, and put it together. Like full
Yeah,
body.
you're right. Of
It's
course you're right.
so fun.
Yep. Yeah, 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 yeah. I need to okay. Not gonna beat myself up because these are things that have been on an ongoing list for me, but it's time. And so this is the priority.
Yeah, do not beat yourself up because there's been so many other things that you have had to deal with.
This is
And there's this development thing and there's the maintenance thing. And you have got like 80% of your attention is generally going to be on maintenance and just getting through. And all you have is this little 20% to try to work on improving anything. And look at all the things that you need to figure out we're improving on, including gym.
yeah, and myself.
So, so do not beat yourself up. It is,
Yeah.
you have a lot on your plate. And this is not, of course, not going to be huge on your radar. These people at school, that's whose radar it's supposed to be on.
Yeah.
And very typically, I got a master's in teaching and I never really learned how to teach people how to read. Like it's not part of most people's, like, yeah, they say they're teaching you and they do this whole reading thing, but they don't really learn how to teach you how to read.
Well, I said that to my husband the other, like last year. I was like, I don't know if I know how to read. Like, I know I memorize words.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
So
44.
for a teacher not to know how to teach a child like Ari how to read, that's not unusual.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
they've got really great programs And they've got, and they can use their imagination, and they can make it bigger and make it more fun and make it more tactile, make it more kinesthetic.
Yeah.
They can do that.
Sensory orchestra. I've wrote that down. Well, I'm going, yes. The next time we chat, I will have an update.
Awesome.
Thank you.
On that, and an hour of stay listening, unless you can make it playful. And then
Okay.
20 minutes, I'm gonna say,
Okay.
of just like, you think I'm gonna read it again? Okay, if you ask me again, I might tickle you. If he
Yeah.
likes tickles, only if he likes tickles.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
I'll tickle you if you ask me again. Don't ask me again.
Yeah. I mean, his first inclination is going to be to hit me. And
Yep.
then,
And so let him hit you, but just block, block, block,
yeah.
block. Don't let the hits happen, because that one, he doesn't feel good about himself when he hits you.
No, he doesn't.
And two, it tells him that he can't hit you when you block him. He
Yeah.
gets he'll get frustrated and discouraged. And then he will stop trying to hit you because your reflexes are just too good.
Too good. It's too good. Okay. No
All
small
right.
feats. All
No
right.
small feats. You're doing a wonderful job, mama. You're doing awesome.
Thank you. Thank
You really
you.
are. You're mama of the year.
Oh,
Gold star.
yeah. All right. Thank you, Betty.
All right. Take
All
good
right.
care.
We'll talk soon. Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.